Are these tales of time travel genuine or are they just fiction? We'll let you decide. We're gonna list down our choices for the top 10 individuals who said that they had traveled across time. For this list, we're going to look through the claims of time travel encounters that are the most bizarre and unbelievable. Even if none of them can be proven with absolute certainty, it's still entertaining to speculate about them. So in this video, we're gonna share with you 10 people who claim to have traveled in time. Number 10. John Titor. The purported time traveler's online postings caused a commotion on the internet in the early 2000s. John Titor said that he was an American soldier from the year 2036 and from a lifetime that was parallel to our own. He sent pixelated photographs of his time machine, along with cryptic warnings about the future. The ensuing inquiry concluded that entertainment lawyer Larry Habbard was probably responsible for the title, although there are still some people who believe it. Yet, if he were to be genuine, our history would have had to have deviated dramatically to account for the fact that his forecast of a second civil war in the United States occurring in 2004 did not come to fruition. Number 9. Noah. Suppose for a moment you could go back in time and have a conversation with your younger self. What do you think we should do? In the year 2017, a guy who identified himself as Noah came from the year 2030 and passed a test designed to detect lies. After an unsuccessful assignment in the future, I traveled back through time and arrived here. I've come to this place to seek the absolute truth about everything, he continued. After that, he made an appearance in a video with Noah from the year 2070. They presented hazy depictions of the future, such as saying cars are incredibly fast and the road pushes them. Therefore, it seems that in the future, no one knows how technology works either. It's unfortunate that Noah from 2018 was not also there, but it's possible that the presence of 3 Noahs would have caused reality to collapse. Now his forecasts included more sophisticated artificial intelligence, a human journey to Mars, and cancer treatments. However, some time later, a guy called Jason said that he was Noah, and that the whole thing was fake. Who knew that my given name is Jason and that I'm not a time traveler? I'm simply an ordinary man. I'm now unemployed and living at home. I felt it was important for you to know the whole and utter truth about who I am. Number 8. The man seen in the year 5000. This individual asserts that he was present in the year 5000. What kinds of proof would we need to believe that someone has traveled through time? Now, in the year 2018, a guy called Edward said that he traveled to the year 5000 and brought back photographic evidence back with him. Edward claims that he was chosen to participate in a top-secret experiment back in 2004, and that the project transported him to the future. The image he uploaded on social media showed what seemed to be an underwater metropolis, but in reality, it was Los Angeles 3,000 years in the future. I brought it with me as evidence of your solution to the problem answering the inquiry regarding citizenship. When that day comes, the whole planet will be inundated as a result of climate change, and the only way for humanity to continue existing is to live in floating cities like this one from which he took the shot. Whether or not it's accurate, all we can do is hope that the future won't be anything like Waterworld. Number 7. Men in Montauk Project. Is the Stranger Things on Netflix based on a real-life travel experiment called the Montauk Project? The book, The Montauk Project: Experiments in Time, which was written by Preston V. Nichols and Peter Moon, served as an inspiration for the type of successful Netflix program. In the book, Nichols describes what he claims were his experiences at Camp Hero in Montauk, which is where gateways to other dimensions and timelines were allegedly established by tests conducted on youngsters with psychic talents. The manipulation of human subjects was the central concept of the Montauk Project, and this description isn't too far from the truth. The book also tells the story of Al Bielek, who asserts that he took part in the infamous Philadelphia experiment in the 1940s, which is said to have transported the battleship USS Eldridge across time. This section of the book is described in detail in the book. During one of the trials, the ship manifested in Norfolk, Virginia, which is about 200 miles distant, before vanishing once again and then reappearing once more in Philadelphia. Number 6. A 1940 car has vanished. It was first published in a magazine article in the year 1988. The plot revolves around 2 guys who were traveling on a highway in Louisiana in 1969 when they came across an old car from their past. The event took place in the early afternoon. The 2 individuals had a glimpse of an older automobile. When they got closer, they were able to make out the license plate of the automobile, which revealed that it was issued in the year 1940. Within, they discovered a lady in her 40s, a tire, and a little kid who gave off the impression of being frightened and bewildered. The two were taken aback when they saw that the vehicle had disappeared after they had waved at her to stop the automobile and asked if she needed assistance. Another motorist who was there at the time of the incident provided support for their story. Whether or if it's accurate, we'll never know for sure. Number 5. Moberly Jordan Incident in 1901. Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain, who are both teachers in the United Kingdom, were supposedly present at the Palace of Versailles when a very peculiar event took place for them there. It was said that the pair started seeing individuals dressed in attire from the 1700s, as well as structures that hadn't been there since that same period when they were visiting the Petit Trianon little chateau that was located on the grounds. The assertion is made by one of the ladies that she saw Marie Antoinette drawing on the lawn. In 1911, they wrote a book named An Adventure that was based on their experiences and published it. Skeptics contend that the individuals in question were participants in a mass hallucination or observers at a costume party. Regardless of the circumstances, their tale is still told and cherished today. Number 4. The Man from Taured. Going through customs, especially with most Chevy planning for males, may be a hassle for anybody traveling internationally. But one traveler to Japan in 1954 had greater challenges than others while attempting to land at Haneda Airport in Tokyo. An unidentified guy was held because the nation he claimed to come from doesn't exist. The guy claimed to be from a European nation that was located between Spain and France, which at this point in history is the microstate Andorra. Nevertheless, the man argued that his nation, Taured, had formerly inhabited the same region as Andorra. Even more perplexing is the fact that he disappeared from the hotel room that was assigned for him to stay in, even though there were security officers placed outside his door. Even his Taured passport was no longer in his possession. It's possible he went back to whichever era or parallel universe he originated from. Number 3. Seattle lawyer Andrew Basiago. According to Andrew, he took part in the DARPA project Pegasus, which focused on teleportation and time travel when he was younger. Maybe when he was 7 years old. Legend has it that children can cope well with the strains of traveling between past, present, and future. Therefore, he and a few others were chosen at a young age. Together with his fellow chrononauts, he traveled back in time to see events like President Lincoln's assassination at Ford's Theater and the Gettysburg Speech in 1863. Even a picture of him from the endeavor is said to have been taken. He claims to have seen 8 different time travel systems, most of which were based on Nikola Tesla's technical plans and drawings. Amazingly, Andrew has repeatedly run into himself and has never produced a contradiction. Those who concur with him assert that the military branch has been hiding its time travel ability for approximately 40 years. In 2016, Andrew Basiago ran for president, but we all know how that turned out. He may have used time travel to affect the result, perhaps. He also believes he'll be chosen as a president or vice president shortly. I already know that I'm going to run for president, and that I'll either be elected president or vice president in one of the elections, which has to be between 2016 and 2028, because I'm not running beyond that, he added. Number 2. Paul Dino. Paul Dino, a Swiss teacher, spent a year in a coma in the 1920s. He started making notes in his journal as soon as he awoke, but he kept them to himself. That is until he got in touch with one of his pupils to ask them to translate it. Paul's journal entries were shown to be everything from typical. Instead, they were in-depth descriptions of an intriguing tale. He asserts that while unconscious, he entered the year 3906 AD and awakened as Andrew North, a well-known doctor who had just emerged from a coma. Paul offers some intriguing prognostications regarding the future and asserts that their bodies must have exchanged in some way during both of their accidents. He predicts that the Earth will occupy Mars in around 200 years, but that at that time, a natural calamity would kill all 20 million inhabitants of the planet. Also, he predicts that 100 years from now, the world would experience a horrific conflict that will finally lead to unity. The quality of people's lives will significantly improve as a result of this global union, which will significantly enhance the world. The amount of information in these diary entries surprised me, and it seemed that Paul was writing from a place of sincerity. More astonishing than that, however, is that he never intended for anybody to read them. These diaries weren't revealed until he handed them to his pupil, which is when Paul's tale was learned. He probably would have kept it to himself if it weren't for that. While it's difficult to imagine that this truly occurred and that Paul spent some time in the year 2000, it's plausible that he believed he did. While he can't be certain, it'll be a solid indication that he was speaking the truth if his prophecies came true. Number 1. Robert J. Dino. David Hill, an Iowa-based computer programmer, received a lot of intriguing emails in 2003. These emails weren't your typical trash mail, yet they were flagged as spam. These were emails from a guy by the name of Bob Walsh, who was giving $5,000 to anybody who could get a variety of oddities, such as an AMD dimensional warp generator and a time-transducing capacitor. Interested, Hill replied to this email by saying that he could get White what he wanted. He also delivered White a package with an old motor that he claimed was the warp generator after photoshopping an online store. White never expressed his displeasure or claimed that this was a joke, and Hill had hoped he would. Instead, he expressed his gratitude for the components delivery and requested his assistance in locating further supplies. As Dave saw how committed the guy was to his purpose, he decided to end his ruse. The sender of these letters were eventually identified as Robert J. Dino, a guy in his early 20s who had a genuine desire to travel across time after they developed some recognition and a little bit of a following. Several of the emails are contradictory, with some claiming to be from 2003 time travelers and others just stating that they wish to go across time, making it difficult to determine if Dino thought he was a time traveler or if he just wanted to do it. It's probably both, since Dino said that he sent over 100 million emails. It was sometimes simple to trust him when he said that he was entirely serious and that his mental condition was great. He seemed to be pretty logical. Nevertheless, it was subsequently discovered that he had been given a variety of mental order diagnoses. How many emails were sent by Dino, and how many were sent by erroneous individuals who were also claiming to be time travelers are both difficult to determine. Yet this continues to be one of the more intriguing spam email incidents in recent memory. So, what do you think about these incidents? As we attempt to unravel these puzzling riddles, please be sure to post your comments, questions, and solutions in the comment box below. If you enjoyed this video, then hit that like button. And for more amazing content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Also, don't forget to press that bell icon. We'll see you guys at the next one. Until then, peace.